My sister got married in September 2024. I was like, if you don't play B2B at the wedding, like I'm not gonna be your maid of honor.
I don't think I've ever drunk champagne before breakfast before.
Well, I've got a wonderful idea.
Hello and welcome back to the Movies for Breakfast podcast. I'm your host, Christy, and today we're talking about The Moment by Charli XCX, a new mockumentary about her tour. I'm just popping in with a quick intro before I introduce my guest, Steph, and we get into the episode. But I did just want to say hi. A lot of you are new here, a lot of new listeners since my Wuthering Heights episodes. Thank you for being here. This episode is really fun. I tend to focus less on really technical film analysis when I have guest episodes, and I try to focus more on analysis of like themes and cultural context and social commentary, things that are kind of more fun to discuss and get into with someone. But in my solo episodes, I often get more in the weeds of like the craft of filmmaking and technical criticism. So, you know, pick your poison. I think both are good and both have their place. And sometimes an episode giggling with a friend is just a really great antidote to having to be so serious and so careful about everything I say. People on YouTube have been amazing, like so many likes, comments, subscribes. If you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, I have beef with you because where are my 5-star reviews? Leave me a 5-star review, please. And as always, go to my website, moviesforbreakfast.com, moviesforbreakfast.com, to find me everywhere else through there. Okay, let's get into it. Cut to me with Steph. I'm joined today by one of my best friends in the world, the angel Steph.
Hello.
Steph and I have been friends since we were little playing basketball together, but then we like really became friends in high school, and we've been friends ever since, and now we're neighbors.
We're next door neighbors
in the city, which is awesome.
It's beautiful.
Also, if you were wondering how I knew Widlin or how I got a collab with Widlin, it's through Steph.
That's my boyfriend.
That's her boyfriend. So yeah, we're gonna talk about The Moment today. We went to see The Moment together. First off, I just want to give some context about our experience with Brat Summer.
Yes.
Because we did a Brat Summer together.
Yes.
And then B, our experience going to see the movie. And then we'll get into like talking about the movie.
Really is kind of full circle, isn't it?
Yes. I moved to New York during Brat Summer. So we grew up on Long Island in the suburbs. I lived in DC for like 7 years, and I always was planning to come back to New York eventually. And it just so happened that like the summer I moved back, when I moved into my apartment in the city, was summer 2024, Brat Summer.
What month was it?
In July. I moved in July 1st to this apartment. I drove my U-Haul truck alone from DC into Manhattan. It was an insane summer of my life. It was the craziest summer of my life. It was so hot and sweaty, and like I just had a screwdriver everywhere all the time. There was no furniture. I brought this couch up piece by piece by myself because my neighbors are useless, and put it together by myself.
Independent woman right there.
It was my independent woman summer.
I love it.
And Brat was thriving, and also Chapel, the rise and fall of a Midwest princess. So that was just the most magical girl summer of my life. Everything felt magical and unreal. All I was doing was like going out and partying and like living life.
Do you know what I remember is my birthday. We went to your rooftop.
God,
I think that was the first time on your roof, and we took photos.
Was that your birthday? I thought that was when we went on that boat.
Oh, that was also it. But
we did both because your birthday you wore that green beaded dress.
And I had a bright green cake.
You had a brat green cake and a green dress, not brat green, but a tasteful green dress.
But
like
the
us and all of our friends are summer birthdays. Not all of them.
Yeah.
Like G is not.
Yeah, except
but you, me, Roisin, and Megan all have summer birthdays. Yeah. And so every summer is just like it's just party every week.
Great time.
It's so fun. So I had my 25th birthday party in Manhattan during Brat Summer. I did a Brat themed party.
You also had a Brat cake.
I had a Brat cake. I made my own Brat cake. And I did like Brat, like kiwi margaritas. Like I can't express how much I felt like I was living in a movie. I felt like I was living in an A24 coming of age movie. I romanticized everything. Everything was a mess, by the way. And like probably my mental health was really bad, but in my like imagination, I was just the coolest girl on earth.
No, that was true.
How it felt.
That was real. That was real and true.
It was real and true. I mean, it was true to us.
Yeah.
So that's something that you have to understand in terms of like, why is Brat important to me? Because I'll admit I was not really a Charli stan before that. Like I just didn't really know her music that well, and I definitely was like a Brat bandwagoner.
I can vouch that I was not. I can proudly say that I was not. I saw her perform. She opened for Marina and the Diamonds. Charli opened for her, and they were like kind of besties, and they have very, very similar music. At least they like did in the beginning. And I think I saw them like in 2014, 15.
That was a very different Charli.
Yeah, I listened to Charli on like SoundCloud. Like some of her music wouldn't be on Spotify, or maybe I didn't have Spotify at the time. I don't know, but I would listen to a lot of music on.
So you've been a fan.
SoundCloud. Oh yeah, and then I kind of like died down a little bit, like being her fan. I mean, I feel like she said she kind of did like a pop world that was a little bit more like simple music and not really her vibe, and I kind of fell off. And then Brat came, and I said,
Brat was the resurgence. Yeah,
I've missed you, Charli.
My sister got married in September 2024, and the one song I said we have to play was B2B. I was like, if you don't play B2B at the wedding, like I'm not.
Do you remember
gonna be your maid of honor?
Do you remember that for my birthday? We went to House of Yes.
I do remember B2B at House of Yes on your birthday.
I remember we danced to that, and then I was like, okay, we can go home now. I'm good.
It was like it felt like in Baby Girl when they're at the rave in Baby Girl. Yes. That's what that moment felt like. Exactly. We were like in the back of the like main room at House of Yes. And it was like,
and I couldn't see anything.
Okay, so that was Brat Summer. You have to understand how important it was to us. Like if there was a target audience, we are the target audience. And then this movie, I don't think I saw any previews for it at the theater, which is saying something because I go see movies like at least once or twice a week.
I saw a preview.
Did you see a preview?
Only one.
I did see the like guerrilla marketing of like the billboards of the like, this is a documentary, but it's not, but it is.
Yeah.
Type of Brat style like street marketing. There was like a really cool billboard at AMC Union Square. There was a really cool billboard like in Greenpoint on one of those huge buildings. So I knew about this movie via billboards, which is pretty cool that that's the marketing strategy.
That was really good marketing strategy.
Yeah, because it also was only showing in the beginning in LA and New York, I think, which is so annoying that they do that, but like luckily we have access to it. And then we also decided to like try and get some content out of it because we both also are like do TikTok. So we were like, okay, let's go early. Two bitches who have never been early to anything in their lives.
Example A right now. I got here late. But we got there on time.
We got there so on time. It was during like the cold weather in New York where there was like a frostbite warning, and I thought I got frostbite. I really wanted this video of like the audio from Overcompensating where it's Mary Beth Barone as Grace being like, I'm working the Charli concert this week.
Poof?
XCX. And then that goes on like 5 more times.
It's great.
So maybe like 15 clips of me saying something and Steph going poo,
and also 15 scenes of me saying poo that different.
And we recorded it all in chronological order. So instead of getting like 5 clips of Steph going pooth, we would do my big line and then be like, okay, switch jackets again, because Steph had like a cute jacket and I didn't. And this was all like outside, inside. I'm like strutting outside in my 6-inch stiletto shark booties. So we did all of that, and then we recorded. Steph got like a last minute recording on our way home of her doing Hi Vogue, I'm Charli XCX.
This is what's in my bag.
I don't know about you, my video flopped.
Same.
So we spent like 2 hours on a flop. Anyway, so that's the vibe as we're going in. We're going in with high expectations, good vibes, like prepared to love it. So we had so much fun watching it. I had a great time. It was a very visual audio experience. Definitely a movie you see in theaters.
Yeah, for sure.
Gave all of the hype and like concert vibes that you wanted, but then it was also like funny. When we left, we interviewed a couple more people about what they thought about it. Everyone there was in a creative career. Like everyone I spoke to worked in theater production or fashion, and we're all like so nice and happy to talk. You can go see the interviews on my TikTok or Instagram, but I think it was very telling what the target audience was.
For sure. Because
this movie has not gotten great reviews across the board. I was really surprised because I loved it, and it felt like everyone loved it at that showing.
I went to like look up to see like on TikTok what people were talking about. There were so many people saying how it was a flop, and I was like, oh.
And that's why I made a movie podcast.
Exactly.
Because we need more diverse voices talking about movies. For this episode, I'm going to give like literally the fastest plot rundown. I know I always say I'm going to give a fast plot rundown, and then I talk for 2 hours. I really am.
No, I believe you.
And then we have discussion questions. Okay. This is a mockumentary about the Brat tour. The setting is like September 2024, right after Brat's summer, and Charli is playing like a kind of exaggerated caricature of herself, and her label, also kind of exaggerated, is really, really pushing her to commercialize as much as possible and like extend Brat for as long as possible. So they want her to do a concert film, a concert documentary, which is like a very common thing in pop these days. I don't think I've ever watched one, so I wasn't totally like plugged into that.
Yeah, no, I haven't either.
But it's very common for like a big pop tour to have a concert film, so that like if you couldn't go see the tour, you can like watch it on Netflix or Amazon Prime, and it's almost as if you were there, right? And she's like resistant to the idea, but if she can do it her way, fine. Then they also want her to partner with this bank, this failing bank that sounded like Merrill Lynch, and I can't for the life of me remember what it actually was.
No, something Sterling, Howard Sterling.
Oh, Howard Sterling. Yeah. And they want to do a Brat credit card targeted to gay people. I'm sorry, it was so insane. They were like, it's a credit card for gay people, and she's like, can gay people not get the regular credit card?
No, her being like, how would you know?
How would you know?
That
Yes.
shit took me out. He's like,
He was like, I feel like you can tell.
you could tell. He's like, oh, I would get it. Well, I'm an ally.
Oh my god, the actors, she cast a lot of like really good British comic actors.
Yeah.
That guy's from Fleabag.
Oh, yes.
He's so funny.
I liked how it wasn't like anyone obvious other than, what's his name?
Alexander Skarsgård.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
everyone else was kind of like low key.
I knew that guy from, actually I have the cast right here. Jamie Demetriou.
Mm-hmm.
I also knew Rish Shaw. He's in Overcompensating.
Oh, yes,
He's Miles in
yes.
Overcompensating.
But you know what I mean? Like, that's only like
Rachel
one
yeah,
or
yeah,
two
yeah.
things they've done. It's not like someone who's
Yeah.
in a ton of stuff.
Haley Benton Gates, the woman who played Celeste, I
Haley
didn't recognize
Benton
her.
Gates, I love you.
Great name, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
but
you're
I
saying
also
you
just
love
like
her.
love her in the movie. But yeah, I didn't know
She's
where
the
she was
star
from.
of the movie.
She is the star to me. Like, I
Okay,
love
so
her.
yes, the casting was very like smart, strategic casting, not
Yeah.
casting faces to get people in the door because it's Charli XCX.
Exactly.
So there's no need.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she's basically like being pushed really hard by this team around her and by the label to do all of these commercial things and monetize Brat and extend Brat, which is like kind of stressing her out because she has this whole complex about like, is this really who I am? Do I want to extend it or do I want to just move on to the next thing? Lots of anxiety and neuroses about it. Her like partner in crime is her creative director, Celeste, and they're also like very, very good friends. And in all of this chaos, Celeste is kind of the voice of reason. She grounds Charli. They share a creative vision. So when they get together and like brainstorm, they're on the same page about like, what are the vibes? What do we want creatively, whereas everyone else is kind of a business mind around her. Okay, she gets pushed into doing this concert film, and therefore this director who they hired, Johannes, played by Alexander Skarsgård. I just watched Pillion on Monday.
Is it good?
It was good, yeah.
Yeah?
I recommend going to see it.
Okay.
I'm not going to do a whole episode on it because there's only so much I can get myself to say with a straight face on the internet, but I'll talk about it in my February wrap up, and I really liked it.
YouTube might not allow that.
YouTube definitely is not going there. Anyway, so Alexander Skarsgård plays this like really obnoxious, cocky director who like thinks he knows everything, and he's so bossy and irritating and like super overstepping boundaries. So he brings his whole crew to their tour rehearsals. They're like 2 months out from tour or something, a month out from tour, and they're just standing and watching over, breathing over Celeste and Charli's shoulder. Like,
Yep.
I don't know if we want to do that. And his thing is he wants to sanitize it and make it more like family friendly and basically build the whole concert experience around the fact that they're filming it. Whereas Celeste and Charli, their vision is to make it like a nightclub and like strobe lights, flash warning,
What Charli
crazy.
is, or at least what Brat is.
What Brat it.
Yeah.
What I think her actual tour
Yeah,
was.
yeah, exactly.
Based on like what I saw online.
Mm-hmm.
And so then this tension starts happening where Celeste is really strong-minded, has her vision, and is pushing back. Charli, the version of herself she plays, is kind of a pushover and non-confrontational. So she's trying to like go along with what the label says and then also go along with what she wants, but she doesn't know how to like stick up for herself and like have a clear vision. So Celeste takes a lot of the heat. Finally, Charli is getting overwhelmed, so she fucks off to Ibiza for a 3-day vacation when they're like 2 weeks out from tour, and everyone's like, what are you
When I
talking
tell you
about?
she was like going there, I was like, I'm so stressed.
I
Bitch,
was
stay
so
stay home,
stressed.
stay there.
This was uncut gems for anyone who's ever been creative about anything.
I've never seen Uncut Gems.
Okay, well, you
But I
know
know-
that like
but I
the
know what
Safdie
you're
brothers vibe is like
Yes.
very
Yes.
Marty Supreme, whatever.
Absolutely.
This
You're
was
so right.
far more anxiety inducing than any Safdie brothers movie to me because I never care about the Safdie brothers protagonist.
Yeah.
I really cared about Charlie. I was like, Charlie, we need to get it
No,
together.
the stakes are very high.
The stakes
for
are
this
very
specific- yeah.
It just keeps escalating and escalating to where they're closer and closer to tour. They have no vision yet. It's all just like arguing in the rehearsals. And then instead of like Charlie putting her foot down on one side or the other, she goes to Ibiza to like take a break
Yeah.
with some sponsorship at this resort.
Run away.
So it sucks for Celeste. Celeste is really the main character and really the person you're rooting for the most because she's very honest, true to herself, hardworking, real. And then while Charlie's on this vacation, she goes to like the spa, and this woman, Maria, who's supposed to be like a guru, like healer, basically tells Charlie that she's old, she's aging, she's like 30. She's like, you're getting old and you need to have children.
You're dull. Like you're like
She was like, you have dark energy.
Yes. It wasn't even just about the skin at that point.
No, she was like, your soul has a darkness in it.
Yeah.
So not the most like healing thing to hear. So Charlie has like a breakdown and she runs out of this. She's like, okay, well, never mind, bitch. And then who does she run into in the hallway?
Miss Kylie Jenner.
Miss Kylie Jenner. Okay, podcast values check-in. I do not support the Kardashian Jenner clan. I have a lot of issues with them in terms of their, you know, capitalism and kind of their politics and their cultural vulturism. Let that be known. I think we all know that. If you know me, follow the podcast, you know. That being said, Kylie was incredible.
Why did she eat that up?
Good. She's playing like a fictionalized version of herself.
A part of me is like, did she do so good because she's playing herself?
For sure. But still, like,
but it's still impressive.
It was perfect. First of all, Charlie is like increasingly looking kind of strung out.
Yeah.
Like she's also tired. Doing that very like well. Her makeup is falling, her hair.
She's like sweating.
She's always like sweating in like a close-up handheld. Like it's very...
Yeah, you can't miss it.
She's very much like crashing out piece by piece. And then she runs into Kylie and Kylie's like so shiny and her boobs are so perky and like her hair is so curled and shiny while she's like going into the spa. Yeah. Like who's your worst nightmare to run into when you're feeling ugly and bad about yourself?
Yep.
For sure it's Kylie Jenner.
Absolutely.
Everything
and they also
about her.
kind of, they have similar...
They could look alike.
Yeah, I think that's the point.
Yeah, it was like looking in a warped mirror and being like, I'm disgusting. Kylie Jenner kind of triggers her crash out even more, and like triggers her like jealousy and insecurity even more. And so Charlie spirals, gets really drunk, and decides to post about the credit card collab, even though she wasn't going to before, because she wants more money so that Johannes can do whatever he wants with the tour, because she's just like throwing money at the problem now. And so she like drunkenly posts about it
while she's bleeding
because her wine glass cut her.
Yeah,
and it's like red wine and we're bleeding.
She's literally
and we're
bleeding
drunk
out,
and we're like posting,
drinking.
Like the frantic feeling of it was like,
that
girl,
was a lot.
Put the phone down. It was the type of thing where you're like, this is why celebrities aren't allowed to log into their own accounts.
Yes.
This is why their managers have their accounts. She comes back to rehearsal and Celeste is like, oh my God, thank God you're back. Look, everything's gone to shit. No one has been listening to Celeste. She doesn't have authority. But instead, when Charlie gets back, Celeste feels betrayed because she realizes that Charlie has actually been bankrolling Johannes while telling Celeste at the same time, like, I know he's crazy.
He's crazy. Help me out.
Help me
fix
out.
it.
And Celeste is like so loyal. She's like, all right, I'm doing my best. And then she finds out that this whole time, Charlie has been giving Johannes the green light and the money to do whatever he wants, which has been like psychological torture for Celeste at work. I thought at this point Celeste would quit, but actually she fires Celeste.
Yes. The guys fire her.
The guys fire her. Yeah, Charlie doesn't do it herself.
Of course not.
But Johannes has been telling everyone that Celeste is really hard to work with and like angry because she's sticking up for herself and because he's like an insane sexist
She brings
monster.
terrible energy.
Yeah, she has like bad vibes.
Yeah, bad vibes. Yeah.
Because she tells him that his ideas are bad.
Yeah, which they are.
She gets back to tour rehearsal only to find out that she totally violated the terms of the contract, misrepresented the card, like saying that anyone who applies for the card will get a ticket to her tour. So her fans not only like applied en masse, they also committed fraud by like having multiple identities so they could open multiple credit cards, which caused the bank to fail. The bank has crashed. It was already kind of shaky, which is why they did this credit card thing. But then Charli XCX like kind of single-handedly brought down like a major banking institution.
Which is kind of a flex. That's kind of cool.
Kind of a flex. Yeah, and some people online, her fans are defending her like she did it on purpose as like a statement about capitalism. Which was so realistic. I'm like, that would
That
happen.
is so realistic.
I was being like, of course she crashed a bank.
Oh
You think she didn't
gosh.
think of that?
On
Mastermind.
TikTok, people going back and
Think
forth.
pieces.
Yeah, absolutely.
After the whole crashing the bank thing, Charli disappears. Like, it's a really bad thing online. Like, everyone's canceling her, and it's like really like PR disaster stuff. And so for a couple of days, like, nobody knows where she is. And finally, they all are in like a boardroom. All of the label people, her managers, everyone is talking about her and about the tour. And then they go, wait, has anyone seen Charli? And they freak out. They think she's... So they run to her apartment. She's just been like partying alone. She's just been like drinking alone. She's alive. But for sure, for a second, you're like, did she?
Yeah.
It's too late to change the tour back to anything that she would have wanted. So she has to go along with Johannes's vision. She calls Celeste and leaves Celeste a voice note, basically apologizing for everything and saying like she knows that she was in the wrong and that she was dishonest, and basically like the thesis statement of the movie is in that voice note about how she doesn't know how to deal with like wanting so badly to be liked by everyone and then finally being liked by everyone but hating herself and her work that everyone likes and getting sick of it, and she's scared Brat will die and then she'll fall off, so she would rather kill it herself than wait for it to die. All of these complexes, and then ultimately she says, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna do Johannes's vision. It sucks and Brat will die, and at least then I'll be done with it. And Celeste is kind of like smoking a cigarette with the documentary crew and like shrugs at the voice note and is like, that it is what it is.
What a heavy voice note.
Heavy voice note.
That had to be 7 minutes long minimum.
And it felt real. It felt like a very honest part of the movie.
Yeah.
But then that's kind of it. And then we end on a montage of of the documentary of the concert film as Johannes made it. And it is like every like stereotypical like pop thing you can think. Her hair has like green streaks in it.
It's so Amazon Prime too. That's the funny thing.
So Amazon
Prime. Because they
Prime.
said it was Amazon Prime in the beginning,
Yeah.
and I was like, I remember being like, ugh. But so what's crazy is what I noticed the most was like her bubble pink lipstick.
The lipstick was crazy.
Because that in itself, I'm like, that's so not Charli. But like,
but it does look like Charli from like 2015, 2016, when she was always wearing bright lipstick.
Yeah.
And like crisp eyeliner.
The dancers in the background, her like dancing around a chair, the confetti,
sparkly boot, bedazzled boots.
Didn't they have like a cigarette or something she was
there was like a giant cigarette and like a giant lighter, and she could like go inside the lighter and then it would light up, and she was like, wait, but why would I be inside the lighter while it lights
is it lit up? And they're like, yeah, it's lit up.
Like she couldn't see. It's basically like a very sanitized, like family friendly version of Brat, where like Brat is cocaine. I'll bleep that. And like people make fun of Charli for being so on the nose, no pun intended, on the nose about that, which I totally get and like kind of agree with, but that is the brand. So then to like water it down to like cigarettes is so like kids bop.
Yes.
Is so PG-13 and like bizarre. Anyway, so it's ridiculous. She doesn't look like herself. They have her in a harness like flying through the air. She looks like Tinkerbell. At some point someone goes, why do you look like Tinkerbell?
Very much Tinkerbell.
The Amazon film got rave reviews, and that's the end.
Yeah.
So that's the movie. That's the plot. Take a moment, appreciate that I actually sped through the plot. All right, first thing I want to talk about is how would you like characterize Charli in this movie as Charli? How much do you think that's very true to herself? How much do you think is like exaggerated? What do you think she was trying to like portray about herself, you know?
Right. I felt like it was kind of like the inner demons in her kind of coming out. I talked to Emma about this before because I was like, I don't know if I have enough to talk about. Like what am I going to talk about? And yeah, I just think it's really interesting how you see someone like who has so much fame and you don't realize that like every time something pops off and goes amazing that they have to like think of the next thing and be like, is it going to last? Yeah. You just think, oh, they're famous. It's going to last. They're going to have this fame forever. And it's like, no, they have to keep being creative, but it's like you can't feel forced. It can't feel too commercialized, but it needs to be commercial. Like you have to find your right avenue and your right creativity that's right for you. Yeah. It's really tricky.
And Brat in a way is impossible to repeat. You can't repeat Brat.
Exactly.
It was lightning in a bottle, one of one, because prior to Brat, she had a very like loyal stan niche following, but she was not doing radio hits frequently, and so that kind of gave her the freedom artistically to do Brat with the mindset of like just developing her creative voice and like understanding what would connect with people. Once she's done Brat, it's different because now everyone is looking at her with the expectation of Brat, whereas before everyone was looking at her with kind of no expectations and like waiting to see what she offered up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. I think like this whole tension of artistry versus commercial success. The interesting thing is she talks about that in Brat.
Yes.
Like in the Brat songs.
Yeah.
What's the one I'm thinking of where she really talks about that? I used to never think about Billboard, but now I've started thinking again, wondering about whether I think I deserve commercial success. So she was literally singing about these questions like in Brat before Brat came out, and then it only like escalated more with Brat success.
Yeah.
And I feel like something she's very honest about, which is refreshing, is wanting success. She wants commercial success. She wants to be famous. She wants to be performing to stadiums and have people appreciate her work. But at the same time, like, she's not willing to do that if it's not her.
Yeah.
Because then, like, what's the point? Then, like, people are praising and celebrating something that is not even you. So you don't get any kind of, like, satisfaction out of it.
Absolutely.
I just feel like it's so real. It's so relatable. There's an element of it that is very much about fame. But I think there's an element of it that, speaking to people outside the theater, so many people related to working in creative industries, not being famous. Just the idea of like all of these things require so much collaboration. And I talk about this all the time with movies, that film requires endless collaboration. Nobody makes a movie alone.
Yeah.
And so there's never really one singular creative vision that gets to be executed, even though we talk about the director as like the auteur and the director's vision. Ultimately, like hundreds of people are putting their vision into something. And so how do you maintain a point of view, and how do you maintain like an artistic voice when you can't possibly do it all yourself?
Exactly. Wow, that's so hard to keep it your own while also like you can't do it on your own. You can't.
And I think that's why people like Celeste,
exactly,
who's the protagonist of this movie, are so important, where like
absolutely,
she's brilliant, she understands and shares the creative vision with the artist, and she's willing to fight with people, because a lot of artists are not so good at being bosses. Like, just because you're a good musician does not mean you're a good boss. But you end up in a position where you have to be people's boss.
You have to.
And you need people who can do that, can handle business, can be a people manager to protect you and shield you enough from the distraction of it to continue being an artist.
She's such a satisfying like character in
Celeste.
the she's so satisfying, especially like her first moment. It was Charli right before, I think, talking to Amazon Prime, and that was stressing me out. And then it was just them kikiing on the couch having wine, and Charli's like frantically explaining what it is and not knowing what it is, and you could see Celeste just being like, let's just do it this way. And it like calmed Charli down too, and they like laughed, and
she would remind Charli of the power that Charli had.
Absolutely.
Because I think you get lost and you don't realize you're in charge when like your label's bossing you around, and Celeste would just be like, then don't do it.
But you're Charli XCX.
Yeah, just tell them no. And she was like, oh. Okay.
Didn't last long for
no.
her to remember that, but you know, at the time
it kind of clicked and went through. Okay, let's keep talking about Celeste. Did you feel like she should have quit sooner? I felt a bit frustrated, not a bit. I felt extremely frustrated on her behalf and for her. I was like really hoping for her to just like rage quit, but she didn't. She was very like committed to executing the vision until she was let go. What are your thoughts on that?
Especially when Charli went to Ibiza.
That would be my final straw. I would have been like,
oh, you out? I'm out.
Yeah.
The fuck?
You're leaving me with this creep?
She's asking her to send one email.
Talk about the email.
She asked her to Celeste asked Charli when Charli was in Ibiza. She was like, hey, can you just send one email to everyone to let them know that I'm pretty much the boss, and like, or at least I have like a lot of input in this, and
let them know that I'm your surrogate while you're gone.
Exactly. Like, I'm your voice while you're gone, and like my view of everything is what you want, and I should keep going for that, and he can't like steamroll over this. And she was like, oh well, I don't know if I can. Like, I don't even know.
No, she said yes.
Oh,
Charli was like, yeah, sure. And then she doesn't do it.
Yeah, that's the worst part, actually. Her saying yes and didn't.
And Celeste thinks that she has sent it until Charli comes back and she goes to do it. Did you not send that email?
If you can tell that we watched this weeks ago.
Almost a month ago, guys.
We're forgetting.
That's my excuse for that is that I needed to do Wuthering Heights.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Wuthering Heights needed to be done.
Yes,
at the time it needed to be done, and I was right about that. So we're circling back.
Exactly. Circle back. So I guess it's like almost okay if Celeste is thinking that the email was sent. She's like, okay, I have more voice in this, and
she had hope that
and
it
Charlie
would work out.
is actively rooting for me and pushing for me in this. But then when she gets back, isn't it when she gets back like he has already done so much stuff?
Yes. And when she gets back, she tells Charlie like, I don't even know where he's getting the money for all of this. And Charlie kind of looks guilty, and then Celeste is like, is this your money? So she realizes that Charlie has kind of been like betraying her behind the scenes. I'd be out.
If not before, then
I'd be out in a rage, in a fit of rage.
I'd be like, okay, you don't respect me. You don't want
Why
me
am
here.
I literally every single day waking up, dreading work, going to work, arguing with someone who doesn't respect me and basically treats me like, come on, smile, sweetheart, lighten up, complains about me to the bosses, says I'm difficult to work with, all for you. Because it's not Celeste's name on the line. It's Charlie's brand and name on the line.
Absolutely.
So Celeste is like fighting tooth and nail in a way to protect Charlie.
Yeah.
And there's no gratitude or recognition of that.
No.
She just undermines her.
No respect whatsoever for it. I respect Celeste for staying that long, I guess, to an extent, because I'm like, I really do think it was like they were true friends and Celeste was trying to salvage the mess that was happening.
Yeah.
But it is Charlie at the end of the day. And I would have been like, okay.
I also feel like as a creative, there's this like intense urge to see things through. Like you want to see it through to the end. She already put in months of work to this. In some ways, probably her whole career has been building up to do like a Charli XCX World Stadium tour. So if there's any chance,
it looked really well thought out before
from the
got
beginning.
there. So
they
I'm
already
like, there
had
probably was so much work she already put in. Yeah.
They already had so much like vision about it. And yeah, I think it's like you get lost in the sauce a little bit of like you've been dreaming of seeing your vision come to fruition. You've been dreaming of like watching the concert as you talked about it and imagined it. So it becomes like bigger than yourself. It was really heartbreaking.
Justice for Celeste.
Justice for Celeste. I think a lot of people watching really identified with Celeste.
Yeah.
Even if you've not been in a creative field. I mean, I felt like Celeste as a data scientist. I think we can all, being a young woman,
sometimes. Exactly.
being a young woman or like any kind of like marginalized identity in a workplace that doesn't respect you, and being really smart and really good at what you do. Not just that, but knowing that you're smart and good at what you do. They hate when you know you're good.
Yeah.
They hate to see you be confident. It's difficult to work with. It's aggressive.
She was just so well handling Johannes. Like
so well.
She would say things that it wasn't overtly like aggressive or rude, but it was also getting the point across. She would be like, no, this is it. Like,
yes.
This is why we're doing this. This is why we're doing that. Like,
yeah. And honestly, like, not to be dramatic, but like, I got a lot of like love over the past couple weeks for Wuthering Heights, but I've also gotten a lot of pushback. And it's interesting to me that a lot of it has come in the form of saying that I'm snobby, stuck up, cocky, think I know everything, or think I'm entitled to give my opinion. Yeah. I do think I'm entitled to give my opinion. I do think I'm smart. I do think I have valuable thoughts. And that just really pisses people off. I always say, you don't have to listen to me. I'm just a person with an opinion. But it really frustrates, especially older generations. But with the right people, when I was working with the right people, doesn't matter, like men, women, whoever it was, that was seen as like collaboration and effort. So I think it's like you have to be with the right people who do respect you, because then when you're trying really hard, it's going to come off like, hey, I'm trying really hard and I care about this, which is what Celeste is doing, instead of this is a power struggle. Exactly. Because it's not about the power struggle. It's about like commitment to the craft and like genuinely wanting the product to be good. Sorry for my little personal rant.
No. I mean, this like we're saying, this movie connects with everyone, whether they're in the creative industry or not. It's just,
I think that's why probably like a lot of like you said, straight male critics didn't get it.
Yeah.
They didn't get it and they felt that it was kind of hollow. I thought it was so deep.
That's such a good point. Yeah.
So emotional watching Celeste and frustrated. And like, I've known people like Charlie who are not willing to protect you and put their foot down on your behalf. Like, I think if you get it, you get it.
I feel like also like women being taken advantage of in movies is shown in such like a vulgar, like intense, obvious way maybe, and this was more of like a hidden, like it's like a job compared to like other intense things that happen in movies. And I feel like it's like, oh, it's just a job, it's just a creative job, like you're just doing a concert, and it's like it's everywhere, babe. It's
all the time,
and it's small and big in all these,
I love that point,
corners. Like, it's everywhere.
Especially like I'm thinking about like Honora, movies about like sex workers and like the disrespect women experience and those kinds of jobs. Yeah, it's also in like really fancy, prestigious jobs.
Right, exactly.
Where you're a white woman.
That's the perfect example. Yeah.
Still.
Exactly.
You're still not protected.
Right.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Or you're working for a woman.
Exactly.
It made me sick to my stomach. I don't know how anyone can watch it and not feel like kind of sick to your stomach about it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Even what's his name? Who was her manager?
Which one?
Fleabag guy.
Oh yeah, Tim in the movie.
But even him, like, he was frustrating in the beginning, and then at the end he was like, oh, this is really fucked up.
I wanted to talk about that too, like the ethics of it. Like, it's easy to feel from Charli's perspective that these are all sharks circling, and a lot of them are shark circling, but also she's a millionaire and a lot of them are probably making a salary that she makes in one Instagram post.
Yeah.
And is it fair to like condemn them for wanting to get some kind of commercial success out of her commercial success? I don't know. Like, I don't know where the line is.
Isn't the point of them to be, this is maybe really messed up to say, but like, if she's the millionaire and it's because of her brand and what she's created, shouldn't she be the boss or leading it?
Yeah.
And they can benefit from that, but they need to be following what she wants.
I think that's the core issue, is like, who has ownership?
Yeah.
And I think this is such a huge thing in music, especially. I think music is different from any other creative industry, any other type of celebrity. Labels are so archaic. And we hear this time and time again of like exploitative labels and like terrible labor practices. I mean, talk about Kesha and Sony and Dr. Luke. Talk about Katseye. Talk about Manon on hiatus. I don't even think we can. We need to offline about that.
We need to offline about that real bad.
Because I'm worried about her.
Through it.
First of all, I've been worried about the Katseye girls since day one. It's been very clear that they are being sucked dry of their labor.
Exactly.
And they're very young. Anyways, so like, we know that labels are really predatory and controlling, and it's sad to see with Charli, because she's famously also a producer and works somewhat independently in terms of like, she collaborates with a lot of people and with A.G. Cook, who did the soundtrack for this movie as well. But like, to see that someone like her, who has such an individual presence and brand publicly and is also known to have a ton of creative control, is still vulnerable to a label controlling you. And I guess I just want to know more and understand more about the business, because I don't get why you even need a label in this day and age. If you're promoting yourself on social media, like, most artists are forced to do like 40 hours a week of self-promo on TikTok, support a young artist, and I can tell in their eyes they're dying inside. It's humiliating. They don't want to be. I'm not saying it's humiliating. Self-promo, go for it. Right. But I'm saying it feels humiliating. So what's your label for? What is your label for? You don't even need CDs. You can post all your stuff online. What is your label for?
My guess has to be that it's still cheaper to have a label.
Do you think?
Like, with the lawyers and everything, like, they provide all of that safety net, and maybe it's too much to have to worry about that on your own.
This is not interesting, me speculating about how the music industry works.
We don't know anything about this.
I shouldn't be talking about it.
So this was also something I was talking to Emma about. She was saying how the credit card, she was like, how could Charli do that and like talk about it on the movie if the credit card was a real thing? Like, how could she talk about it being like an issue and her like finding it cringe? Like, how could she talk about that? And I was like, it's not real. And she was like, yeah, it is. It was a thing.
What?
And I was like, wait, what? So then she's like, look it up. So I look it up, and there's a website for it on Howard Sterling. You can get your own brat card,
but that's not a real bank.
And I was like, oh, I guess I can get my they say put in your email and they'll send it to you. I type in my name, my email. They just send me they say, download this photo, and it's just a brat card with my name.
You got
Oh my god, she convinced me that there was a brat card, and instead this is what
it's not even like the right brat color, I can tell.
With my name on it. I'm like, okay, thanks.
Okay, well, they could tell that you weren't gay enough for it.
Yeah,
they were
right,
like, no.
Exactly. They're like, no. Because these are all things that are like kind
plausible.
Of off of things that's happened.
Yes.
So
what I'm thinking the whole time is like, she is laughing in the face of her label, because you know they did want a concert film. You know, they wanted her to work with like, I'm trying to think of who Johannes like would have been. I don't know, because he's not a film director in the movie. He's like a music video director, but like someone who does like very commercial type movies. Anyways, you know, they wanted her to do that. You know, they wanted her to do every possible like Brat X All-Stars, Brat X Nike like collab possible, and she was fighting this fight.
Also, what I was thinking of, I was like, do you think she got really frustrated when Kamala Harris like kind of took on this?
Well, didn't she tweet Kamala as Brat?
Oh, did she did.
Yeah.
Okay, but
I was thinking about that too.
But I don't think she thought it was going to become what
thing.
It was.
I imagine it was her nightmare.
Right?
For like an American.
And I'm like, is this kind of riffing off of that a little bit? Like that kind of idea
like it
came
went
from
too
that.
far.
Yeah, and she was like, what the fuck?
She was probably like drunk and tweeted Kamala Harris as Brat. She's not even American.
That was the
no skin in the game. No skin in the game.
That was what Woodland said immediately. He's like, bitch, you're not.
This is how I feel when Lando Norris says that we gotta respect Donald Trump. I'm like, first of all, why are you going out of your way to be MAGA? You're not even American.
Right. There's no need.
I wanted to talk more about Kylie Jenner.
Oh, yes.
And like the role that she plays metaphorically and symbolically as like a foil to Charli, because it made me think of Sympathy as a Knife.
Yes.
And how Charli is always like talking about comparing herself to other pop artists, to Lorde, to Taylor Swift, to Kylie Jenner now. And like the idea of being so open about your insecurity, I find that really fascinating. The way that Charli's brand is I'm hot and cool, but it's also, and I'm really insecure and I think everyone's cooler than me.
Yes.
There's something so honest about that.
Yes.
And so relatable. If you catch me in the right mood, in the right moment with the right music playing, you can't tell me shit. I'm the coolest girl in New York.
Yes.
I'm skipping the line. Like I feel, I mean, if you catch me in the wrong mood, I'm like, everyone in the East Village is just so cute and I'm ugly. Like it really depends.
And that was kind of, like the feeling hot. Also like interesting how Kylie did that, but like she also enforces all of that. I guess she really was just playing
the loop of like, these beauty standards are impossible, but I'm going to raise them even higher.
And then I'm also acting as myself in this movie as someone who like continues this cycle. Why would she be willing to portray herself that way? And then like still kind of do it, because I don't think to her it's insulting to say that she is perfect. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think that Charli's making fun of Kylie at all. No. You know, like I think it is with like love and respect on a personal level, but in a way Kylie is representing the epitome of superficiality, of like putting on a perfect front, of having every cosmetic tweak you could possibly have, hair always done, wearing makeup to go to the spa, wearing a push-up bra to go to the spa. Like there's something so inhuman about it, and so like beyond that it looks miserable. It looks so stressful. And I feel like Charli has that same thing where part of being a pop star is your brand, and part of your brand is your image, and part of your image is beauty. And part of your beauty is your body, you know, there's no escaping it. Especially as a woman. And like, how do you stack yourself up next to someone who objectively you don't want to be them? Like, this is Sympathy as a Knife. Like, if I really think about it, do I want to swap with this person? No. I want to be my own person. I don't want to be you. And even if I tried, I could never. Even if I tried, I could never do that. So like, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to be? And the more fame you have or the more popularity, it's feeling that stress because you're being compared. You're being compared to these people, whether she likes it or not. She's being compared to Lorde. She's being compared
and
to...
even the light in the hall, they're standing in the hallway and there's this big window and the natural light is on Kylie and she's literally like glowing like a beautiful angel, and it makes, like, and Charli's like backlit shadow, and her hair is like this, and there's a backlight on her and she's like,
it's so good.
Obviously so Charli is so beautiful, but like she did a really good job of like contrasting them. I also wanted to talk about like plot wise in that conversation, Kylie brings up Johannes, the director, to Charli. She says like, oh, I wanted Johannes to do something with me, but he was busy with you. Like, I'm not mad at you. And that pushes Charli to do the credit card thing to fund Johannes, because she gets swept up in the idea of doing what a Kardashian would do, maintaining relevancy and fame. And like, I think as a celebrity, you probably do look at the Kardashians and go like, what, do they have some kind of secret sauce? Like, how are they always relevant? And my answer to that is they have zero integrity.
Yes.
or self-respect.
Yes.
And they exploit everyone.
Yeah.
But I can see in the moment Charli being like, it's because they know what the people want, and they know that the people want this director. And Kylie's like, you got, even if people are sick of you, just go harder, go even more, never disappear. And that gets in Charli's head.
It's so funny though, because when she said that, I was like, I think this is easier said than done. But when she said, oh yeah, I wanted to work with him, I was like, that actually should tell you, Charli, that you shouldn't work with him. Like, that's the point. Like,
especially for like a film, like I don't think the Kardashians are known for their cinematography.
Exactly. Like, what was he gonna do and then after be like, oh my god, the visuals were amazing, like the film, like, versus Charli. And also it was just like fan base wise, like maybe there is some cross section there, but
I'm sure there is, but like you should know
not
better
to the extent of like,
and the thing is, it shouldn't matter. Like, you should know what your fans want, and you should respect and like honor your fans. But at the end of the day, what they want is something authentic.
Exactly. That's what I was like, that was what sold you. But I understand why she did that. I mean, she was at her breaking point. So
I think she like decided to be a businesswoman in that moment rather than an artist. And then she kind of backwards justifies it later by being like, well, it's too late, and this way I can kill Brat myself and move on. And I don't think that's totally like genuine. I think she gives up.
And I could see that, like, you don't have that pressure anymore. It's done.
Because it's not your, and also it's not your vision. It's a lot less vulnerable to do something that someone else told you to do and be like, I know it sucks, I didn't want to do it. Versus doing your own vision. If people don't like it, then it's like, yeah, I thought that was good.
No, yeah, I said this to you at the end. I was like, if she ended up, her and Celeste being like, come on, we have to do this, like, we got to do it our way. I'm making it sound so much worse than they would do it, but like, if they were like, we have to do it our way, and then like they had it the way Charli's concert actually is, at the end of the movie I'd be like, okay, I've seen this before.
Yeah, in terms of the movie, we needed that.
Like, we needed her to sell her soul and,
because it was like
Johannes.
It was a what if.
Yes.
This was like the alternate resolution to real life.
Yeah.
We assume, based on this mockumentary, we get a lot of like actual authentic information about Charli from the fictionalization of this, because we assume that what happened in real life was the opposite.
Yeah.
We assume that somehow, with people like Celeste in her corner, she managed to like buck up and push off the label and do what she wanted. It's not necessarily true that exactly this happened, that they wanted a concert film and that this, but you know, something like this, creative versus commercial tension happens. And I think in real life, she has been, for the most part, able to push through that to do her vision. And I think this mockumentary was her exploration of like, what if I couldn't? Like, what if I wasn't able to? What if I succumbed to like my worst fears about myself and like to what people want from me? What would the outcome be? Her worst nightmare, this Amazon Prime concert film. And that is her nightmare.
And that's a lot of people's nightmares.
Yes.
Including me.
Including me. I felt a little bit sick to my stomach. And you're so right about the pink lipstick being the worst of it all.
It was so pink. And I think it was the pink in contrast with the green. I was like,
it was like giving Wicked kind of.
It was. The bright green eyeshadow with the bright pink lip. I was like, what are you doing, Charli?
We talked about this a little bit, but like, who do you think Charli made this for? Like, when she was making this, what audience did she have in mind? Was it her fans who already know her? Some people are saying like this was really targeted at people who already understood Brat. Do you think this was for like people who found out about her via Brat? Was this supposed to resonate with the general public? Like, what do you think was the goal? Because I don't really know.
Yeah. Anyone who's ever seen or heard of anything of Brat, I feel like, is who this is for. Because I think that's the point. Like, everyone has this different idea of what Brat is, and like this viewing of Brat and being like, oh, it's this one time. I just know Charli from Brat.
Yeah.
Or being like, I've been a fan forever. I can't wait for her next thing. And all of that combined is what stresses her out. And so it's like, also it's kind of for her, which also is like maybe a cheesy answer. But I can only imagine this being such a good like release for Charli, like coming out with this movie and maybe not saying a big fuck you, but just being like, yeah, kind of a fuck you, and stop overwhelming me.
Are you not entertained?
Right.
Is this what you want from me, people?
I think, literally, like, is this what you want? Like,
I think it was for her. I agree. I think it was for herself and for her closest team to be like, all right, this is what you want from me, guys. This is how it would play out.
Exactly. Yeah. And I it's almost like kind of being like, don't pressure me into success again, because like I will do it on my own terms and it will be good.
Yeah.
but if you pressure me, this is like, it's not going to be good.
I feel like such a hard thing about that too is like, in order to have that assurance in yourself to say like, I'm doing it my way, it's really hard actually to do that, because you have to believe in your artistic vision 100%. Nobody believes in their artistic vision 100%.
100%.
It's impossible to believe in your, but
that's kind of the point of it, is like, you don't like, she said this, she came out with Brat and she was like, I don't know how this is gonna go. You don't know.
But the thing is, she's so good. She is so good. She has the talent to back up the demands, quote unquote demands, of like creative control. Okay, I wanted to talk a little bit about the directing and cinematography. So the director of this, Aiden Zamiri, this is his feature film debut. So he's done music videos in the past. He's a music video director.
Has he done music videos of hers?
I think so.
Okay.
So she knew him because they had worked together. And then I think it is true that Kylie had tried to work with him before too, for, I saw this like in an interview or somewhere, it's kind of meta, but like for a fashion editorial shoot or something. Like I think he also does photography.
They did an interview, the three of them together.
Press tour.
Press tour interviews together.
So,
and they seemed like all besties, which was cute.
It was cute, yeah. I do feel like everyone who works with her has fun. And that's a really good testament to like...
Well, yeah, when you were saying she has all these things, I'm like, she also has, I think, she's made sure that she has a good community around, like creative
networking,
like,
genius.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that's why she's been able to make all of this. And do you know what's
genius about her networking too? Is she networks with people, quote unquote, beneath her. Like think about the 360 music video, 360, I don't forget which one it was. I think it was 360. Like, I mean, that sounds bad to say as a hierarchical thing, but in terms of fame, I think a lot of people in Hollywood do think of a hierarchy, and they're only willing to collaborate with people at their level or higher.
Yeah.
I mean, even influencers are like that.
Yeah.
Or especially influencers. But I think what's cool about Charli is she really is connecting with people on an artistic level. And so if she likes you and thinks you're funny or thinks you're creative and you're like not famous at all, she'll work with you because she understands. She has the humility and self-awareness to understand that that benefits her.
Absolutely.
I know it sounds like I'm like kissing her ass, but I really do admire her as like an artist in community. I think she builds community with other artists.
You can feel the alignment and like the enjoyment that she has with the people she's working with, and that bleeds into all the other work, like her and Celeste.
I think of her doing overcompensating,
like
in real life with Benito Skinner. Like
exactly,
she had no reason to take a chance on him.
Yeah, and then she read the script. She was like, oh.
Rachel Sennett. She gave Rachel Sennett a big boost because she thought Rachel Sennett was funny and good at film, and she is.
Yeah.
Quickly, let's talk about cinematography. I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was really good.
I loved, kind of talking about Rachel, the bar scene.
Oh, yeah.
The bar scene was beautiful.
It was all handheld, right? Like, you could see the camera shaking. Yeah.
Because I'm like, obviously, later on in the movie, you don't get Brat. You don't get any of that. So I'm happy in the beginning they gave very much clubbing scene and Brat energy.
Yes.
And Charli energy because, you know, that
was the context for it all.
Yeah.
It was like emerging out of the club basement and being like, okay, now we need to do a deal with a bank. And we're being like, what is going on?
It felt so real. It felt so Charli. It was really cool to like see her in a club.
Really cool.
And I was like, oh my god.
I just loved I loved it. Felt immersive. Felt like you were there. It felt like Catfish, MTV Catfish, how they loved to like break the fourth wall and show them recording on the camera in the mirror. That's how it felt, where they wanted us to be very aware that like this is just what's going on and there's a dude with a camera there.
Yeah.
And like fortunately that's an easier way to film.
Yeah.
And with a whole crew. I mean, I'm sure they had a crew, but you know what I mean? And then also it had like a really great effect. Like I love a mockumentary effect. Also, when they said it was a mockumentary, I wasn't sure if we were going to have like talking heads, and we didn't.
You're so
and I think that was a good call, because that can lean way too far into like, now we're just doing The Office.
Absolutely.
A lot of mockumentaries end up
I don't know if I would have liked this
Office.
movie as much if they did that. Yeah.
It wouldn't
really
make
good
sense.
call.
But this did feel like there was just someone with a camera around all the time, and they kept forgetting that the camera was there. Very good. Comedy. Speaking of Rachel Sennett, I thought this movie was really funny.
Yes.
We were really cracking up.
We were
cracking up in that theater.
It was very funny. And I will say, I think her manager, Tim, I'm like, I keep saying Fleabag guy. I need to
I know, in my head that's who he is too.
I feel like Tim in the beginning provided a lot of humor, and like also just him and Charli, I would never expect that to be her
Yes.
manager, maybe, or who she works with. He seems so different.
He's such a square and
He's
like such a
square,
nerd.
and
Yeah.
I think it's a perfect blend with her because
A perfect juxtaposition, if you
yes,
will.
because I'm like it was a blast seeing them talk to each other.
Yeah, seeing them trying to communicate. And he's trying so hard to like speak her language. She's so British and she hired a lot of British actors and I like that too.
Yes.
I thought Rachel Sennett was hilarious. So they're in the
Yeah.
club bathroom. They're like, I know Rachel wrote this because this was a very Rachel Sennett bit. Like this was very Shiva baby.
Every time she acts though, I'm like, is this you,
Is this
Rachel?
acting?
Yes,
I know.
This is acting.
Well, that's why when a girl who I'd never met before said that I reminded her of Rachel Sennett, I just stopped talking for like 10 minutes. I was like, okay, I guess I'll be quiet for a while now. No, but I do think Rachel Sennett's funny.
Yes.
It's just that the caricature of herself is also insufferable.
Yes.
And it's hard to know what's... Anyway, so they see each other and she's like, oh my God, hey, babe. Like, hey, like I haven't seen you since the music video.
That's a really good Rachel Sennett voice.
Really?
That first hey was very Rachel Sennett. I felt...
Hey. I lost it.
Yeah, you lost it, baby.
So I feel like my team was being like really annoying or something about that. And Charli was like, I can't look at you while I'm doing it. But basically Charli is saying like Rachel's pretending like it was her team being annoying. And Charli's like, yeah, we almost couldn't release the music video because he made us do millions of dollars of like touch up on your acne.
That was great. And then Rachel's like...
She's like, well, I was on Accutane at the time. So.
Rachel pans to the camera. She's like, what's the
Yeah,
camera
Rachel
doing
sees
here?
like, hi. I've seen people talk about this. Where did I see it? I think Caleb Heron on his podcast, he had Mary Beth Barone on as a guest recently. And they were talking about how like in Hollywood, people love to make their team the bad guy.
Oh,
do you know what I mean? Like they'll pretend it's just like their manager who's like, oh, sorry, they're making me get out of here. And they're like, we all know. Everyone knows that you're the bad guy and you're sending your team in to be the bad guy and pretending like it wasn't up to you.
That's so easy to just be like, oh, they did this.
You're putting your team in such awkward positions.
Absolutely.
You get to be like, I wish I could stay, but I can't.
My team.
Oh, they're pulling me out. Like if you're on a date and your friend calls you with an emergency is effectively what they're doing.
Exactly.
So I feel like Rachel was doing that bit
Yeah,
of like,
yeah.
sorry, my team was being so annoying about that.
Yeah, that's very LA. And Johannes was hilarious.
Johannes was hilarious. Alexander Skarsgård, man, like every role he plays, he manages to make me hate him.
Yes.
And like I am in love with him. So he's so obnoxious and so annoying that I hate him really quickly. He was wearing like a lot of scoop necks.
I was gonna say the scoop necks and the cardigans were amazing.
Cardigans.
The slouchy cardigans. It just
Like an English teacher.
Yeah, you just knew who he was.
And like a corded necklace with like a stone or something. Or
and I
like
think he had his hair in a bun at one point or ponytail.
Yeah, he had like a half up bun.
Yeah.
It was deeply hard to like look at him.
Yeah.
Let alone hear him speak. And he just kept doing this face with his eyebrows where he's like,
oh my God, his assistant
like
staring at Charli and she's like,
Charli's like, I'm just a little bit uncomfortable with this like energy here. I said this to you after we watched it, but I really appreciated that she did this with a vision of herself that's super unflattering and unlikable. And obviously we know that it's like a caricature and we know based on what has happened in real life that that's not exactly what went down. But I think it was like her worst fear of herself and her worst version of herself.
Yeah.
Like the weakest version of herself, the ugliest. I think we all have moments where we look back on like things we've done and we're like, I am not proud of that girl.
Absolutely.
I'm so embarrassed that that's how I handled that situation.
Not my best work.
And then she immortalized it in film and
Yeah.
like exaggerated it. And I think a lot of people are dismissing that in their criticism of the movie and not appreciating that well enough. I don't think men do that. The Springsteen biopic, I think he tried. I think he really wanted to be honest and show himself in like a negative light as well. But there always was like an air and a slant of like, but I'm the good guy.
But it's me.
But it's me, the boss.
Yeah.
So, and obviously that's different because it's biopic, not like a mockumentary satire. But
True.
I did feel like Charli did a really good job of like not making herself the protagonist. She's the antagonist.
Yeah.
I mean, Johannes is the antagonist, but she's an antagonist and it's infuriating to watch her. And Celeste is the protagonist and she is a nameless, not famous, smart, creative woman in the industry, and I think that's beautiful.
That also made me think, I was like, there's so many amazing creatives behind a lot of these artists that will never, at least like in the mainstream, like people in their industry know who they are. Exactly. And if you look into it, you might know, but
it reminded me of Chantal and Noah. My sister Chantal and her husband Noah are both like graphic designers and they're very successful in their careers. And Chantal recently won the Young Guns Award, which is kind of like a 30 under 30 for like creative careers.
That's awesome.
So cool. Like I'm so proud of her.
Yeah.
And we went to the award ceremony. It was like 33 winners from all over the world, like from Brazil, Spain, New York, everywhere. And there were cinematographers, there were music video directors, graphic designers. There was one colorist, which is like doing color grading for movies. Everything you can think of. And their work was playing on a loop at this event, and it was insane. There was like Blackpink music videos, there was like Nike commercials. That's everything so cool. And we take so much of that for granted.
Absolutely.
And then you look around the room and you're like, these people are 28 and they are just brilliant at this very specific thing they do. Oh, it was just like made me feel so alive to see them all be recognized for their talent.
Yeah.
And they all know each other. They all are very complimentary and supportive of each other. And people who meet me who don't know my sister and like see our last name and like, oh, is that your sister? Because they are like in the graphic design world and they know her. I know I'm just like bragging on my sister right now. No, and I could brag on Natasha too. Love you too. But what I mean is like there are so many people committing their lives to these creative and artistic things.
Absolutely. And I think it's like kind of this idea of it not being a real job sometimes. I mean, that's very like old school, but like even just being like a painter or something, that can become one of these other creative jobs.
Yeah. We need artists.
And
I think
more than we think. Absolutely.
I'm trying to be like super optimistic and tell myself that like the more AI destroys art, the more we need artists.
Absolutely.
And the more valuable art will be, like human art. I hope it will become more and more valuable. Like part of the reason I started this podcast is because I need to like reconnect with like human art and creation and talk about it.
Yeah.
And hopefully like what I'm offering is like inviting people in to like appreciate and analyze and understand movies more, because I think everyone can and should. Like it's not an exclusive thing and it shouldn't be an exclusive thing.
That's such a good point, because I have felt like that. There's definitely this like, oh, you have to be this knowledgeable about this. You have to have watched this amount of
Godfather.
movies. No, you feel like you have to reach this level to be able to like add input into these movies and be knowledgeable about it. But it's like,
no, you really don't.
And you talked about it a lot in Wuthering Heights. Like the point is that reviewing movies and discussing movies and having point of views on it, and not just saying everything's good in movies and in everything.
Yeah.
Like that is where all things go to die. Oh, one more thing. I wanted to say about how she like kind of sold her soul a little bit with like the Amazon music in the movie. And like obviously I thought about like, you know, Taylor Swift, but like I also thought of like Katseye throughout that.
Yeah.
And being kind of how like they have all these external goals in their life that they're interested in, and like how Laura's like a producer and Danielle's a dancer, and you know, other things. They want to be actors, I think. But it's like it all kind of goes somewhere else to die because they want this fame. Or
you're so right to bring up Katseye. Think about this. Charli is a single artist. It's her brand. She's fighting with the label.
Exactly.
You're 6 teenage, early 20-year-old girls.
Yes.
You have zero agency.
And they probably all have amazing ideas and amazing things they want to do.
Yeah.
Especially with themselves.
Yeah.
Like I just saw Laura in a music video, and I was like, I know that took so much to be like, please, can I do this?
Yeah.
Like I know the labels were like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And
it's messed up on so many levels, because first of all, I think fans of Katseye like online are always talking about how the girls have such good taste, and like if they made their own music it would probably be better, which reminded me of the Spice Girls, because the Spice Girls famously wrote their own music. And that's why it was so weird, and that's why it connected with girls, because it was just like the kind of music you make up at a sleepover with your friends. Not that they were all friends, they were also organized by a company, but I think that's a huge thing. And then with Katseye, I think about how vulnerable these girls are. They are on the front lines. They are taking
really,
every
truly.
hit. Every criticism is coming right to them.
And I think everyone keeps forgetting that a lot of the things they're doing,
none of it is their choice.
They're not deciding that.
And you get glimpses of that. Like when you watch Popstar Academy on Netflix.
Right. But I think people think that
it has changed now. I don't think it's changed. I think the level of control.
These songs?
If anything, they're under more control now because everything's public.
Right. And
then also like you can see behind the scenes videos with Vogue or something about them picking out their outfits for the red carpet.
Oh, I meant to watch that.
Manon tries on the dress that Laura ended up wearing, and she
they
goes,
all swap.
I like this, but I think this one's Laura's. She really liked it. So that's just like a tiny snippet where you go, okay, all of these decisions are being made under heavy constraints, and they can either choose peace amongst each other, or they can choose to fight for what they individually want. I cannot imagine how socially difficult that is.
Yeah. And I think Charli kind of talked about how it's like I have this peace because I let it go almost, and now it's in the hands of Amazon and anyone else, and it's so commercialized. My creativeness and my like sanity can be protected because I like pulled away from it, and I wonder if that's like a plus for like
the girl,
for them, someone like Taylor Swift, someone who doesn't want, who's maybe tired of feeling like they've ran out of creativity, or they have creativity and they feel like it gets crushed or it's like throwing pearls
to the pigs. Like, at what point do you keep that for yourself?
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know if those two are the right examples.
I know what you mean. My mom is FaceTiming. Wait, I'm gonna answer really quick.
Yeah.
Hi, Mom.
Hello.
We're recording the pod.
I'm so sorry to interrupt your creative
That's
flow.
okay.
It's okay.
We were just talking about creative flows. Do you want to say hi?
Yeah. Hi. Hello, everyone.
I'll call you back later.
I also am like more of someone who's like has so much creativity, I guess, and like is protecting it from the world. Like, you know what I mean?
And
Like,
how would we really ever? We don't know. We're speculating. Yeah.
That's why I threw out those names, and I'm like, those don't do it justice. But also, we don't know.
We don't.
The
just
person
don't
I'm
know.
thinking of is like not real because they're not saying it.
I thought a little bit of Zara Larsson in the sense that she only makes music in English, and she has talked about how she's tried to write music in Swedish, like lyrics in Swedish in her native language, and she finds it very uncomfortable and maybe like too vulnerable and too real, whereas in English there's a level of like meta awareness of like, here I am writing something about myself,
right?
And it's less like raw. And I always thought that was so interesting compared to and there's no right or wrong answer about what language I love Zara Larsson, but compared to a Bad Bunny who is so adamant about like, I'm gonna do my lyrics in the language that comes from my heart, which is not just Spanish but Puerto Rican lingo, and it doesn't matter if not everyone understands it because it's about my heart and like my understanding. And I just think it's interesting to see how different artists navigate that and how much more vulnerable in a way he is.
Absolutely,
because his music is extremely vulnerable
100%.
and like emotionally raw, and Zara Larsson is more pop and more sanitized. Ultimately, right, it all comes back to, as an audience, understanding what's being put in front of you, understanding who is creatively behind what's being put in front of you. When is it like Lara Raj singing about falling in love with a friend and that's truly coming from her? When is it Hybe X Geffen with 20 award-winning songwriters in a room thinking about what a 20-year-old girl would sing about? You have to understand like what's coming from where and separate the two.
And I understand how like as a group it makes it hard, but people have done it, and people have
Spice Girls.
continue to do it.
Spice Girls.
Yeah. But I'm like, even smaller, I'm thinking of like Flo. I don't know if you know Flo, but it's like three women, and they...
Well, 6 is also crazy.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. 6 is, Spice Girls is probably the only example of that, because I'm like...
Spice Girls, is it 6?
No, but I'm like more than 3.
4 or 5, yeah.
Yeah.
They could easily designate roles.
That would have been cool.
And it's difficult, and it's hard to like give everyone their fair shot. Of course it's hard.
Yeah.
But I do think it offers audiences so much more value than dictatorship.
I'm reading my notes. What? The wristbands.
Oh, the light up wristbands.
The light up wristbands killed me because...
It was Johannes's idea, instead of having the strobe lights, because that doesn't like go well on camera, which by the way they disproved by literally filming it on camera for us in this movie, but that they would have the like light up wristbands in the audience.
What took me out is because I went to a cold... Did you? No, I don't think you went. It was
at Jones Beach.
Me, Melissa, and G, I think. We went to see Coldplay.
And did you get the
and
light
they
up
gave us like rainbow wristbands. And when I tell you I had the best time of my
Okay, but at the time that was brand new.
You know what? You're right. It was like 20.
Johannes is like, Coldplay's been doing this forever.
Right. I immediately thought
also,
of it.
There's a time and a place for light up wristbands, and it's Coldplay.
It is Coldplay.
Because Coldplay is earnest and like sincere.
And it was the album that was like the rainbow album, like with the monkeys.
I know exactly what we're
like,
talking
and so I'm like, this is perfect for it.
No Coldplay slander in my house.
No,
I like
fucking
Coldplay.
Love Coldplay.
But like,
when I
there's
told
a
you
time
I
and a
cried
place.
at that concert,
Really?
Because it was just
Did they play
beautiful.
Yellow and then you just like
yeah. I was sobbing.
It was all yellow.
It's so good. It just made me laugh. The fucking wristbands. I sense myself and feel myself getting more comfortable, and I fear it's the confidence is getting to me, and I'm like now like
no, that's how you're supposed to feel.
I know.
I want my podcast to make everyone feel amazing.
I was like, oh my god, I'm shot. I'm like, give me this mic.
So will you come back on?
Absolutely. Yes. If the people want me
The
to.
people
Literally, if the people let me.
Yes. Okay.
I think that's it.
We got to wrap it up because Steph has somewhere really exciting to be that we can't talk about. So
talk
excited.
about it.
Okay, you talk about it. That's not my secret to tell.
Well, I don't know much about the thing. All I know is that I'm going, hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm going to meet Zoran Mondani. Christy will put my socials down below, and I'll probably have a vlog about it. So
follow Stephie.
I want to check it out.
And let's have another. Honestly, Brat Summer never ended for me, and I mean that. So I understand that Charli wanted it to end. It has not ended for me. Every playlist, fall, winter, summer, spring, fall, winter, it's all there.
Well, that's what I was. You know what? That was something I was gonna say. It's so beautiful because she's like, oh, it's been overdone and overdone. It is my happy place, and it is something specifically summer too. Is like I just love summer.
BTB comes on pre-gaming in the summer. You cannot.
Last
touch
summer,
me.
it wasn't technically Brat Summer, but it was Brat Summer.
It was. I really feel that this is eternal. I will be.
It is.
For the rest of my life, I will associate the year I moved to New York.
Yeah.
Which is like the year my life started.
Naturally.
Not to be dramatic, but
Naturally.
like I didn't exist before I moved here. With Brat Summer, and that music, that album will forever transport me to like a state of mind that is so magical and impossible to replicate. And for that, thank you, Charli.
Thank you, Charli.
Okay, peace.
Bye.
Bye. We did it.
That was so fun.